I am going on an international trip and I'm trying to get as little as possible while getting the most out of it as possible so that my luggage is light. I don't have a ton of bulky situation going on, bulky situations. So I'm going to show you exactly how I do this. I've traveled a lot with a lot of art supplies, but this is the biggest haul so far for me because I'm doing a mixed media art retreat. So I'll show you how I've got all this set up and how I'm going to smush it all into one of these clear bags. I'll link everything for you if you have any interest in any of it, of course. But for now, let's get into it. I do love a clear bag. They are my favorite. I can see everything. It makes things super easy. So what I do here is the first thing you'll see, colored pencils. This is because I do not have any interest in carrying this giant tub around with me everywhere because that will just be too heavy. So I've selected the colors I know I want to use. I have selected a smaller pencil sharpener, so small that I don't know oh, it's right here. A smaller one instead of the one that I would normally use. I love this one, but every tiny little inch counts because I'm not just going to this art retreat, I'm also going to Ireland and Portugal before we actually get to our final destination. So I need this to be easy, light, space saving. So the next thing is I love this ink brush. It has multi-purposes. It's just one of those black ink. You squeeze it and then it comes out of the tip. So like a brush pen. It's kind of an all-purpose one. This Sharpie is my favorite. It's not a Sharpie. This permanent marker, I should say, is my favorite. It has the bold tip, just like a Sharpie would, and then it has a fine tip, and it just makes things so easy. So I always carry that around. I also have a Furinasuki, so it's a small tip brush pen. Love this one. And I have a white paint pen that's fine tip. I really like this one. It is, who is this by? This is by, oh yeah, Uni. How do you say it? U-N-I. It's a good one. I have two of them, so I carry those. Honestly, I carry two because I can't trust planes, and I'm like, what's going to leak and what's not? I carry extra rubber bands because if I want to bundle these together, if I put them in a different bag or something, it just keeps them together. I'm using a highlighter because I'm doing mixed media and it's fun to put in a pop of color. Sometimes I'm only bringing orange. That's because I know that's all I'm going to use. I have a spritzer. So I can put water in this and I can use that for my watercolor palette to moisten it before I use it. When I started doing this, I never stopped. I never went back. So I recommend it. Don't need a huge one, just a little guy will do. A water brush. So this is like one of those, same thing, you can squeeze and the water will come out of the tip. So that works great for on-the-go watercolor when you don't have, the cup and all of the things. Water cup, there we go. This one is going to be for experimentation, just to suck up liquid and have it come back out. Mixed media fun. For paint, I have a pencil. It's small. It's not anything special. I have a pair of scissors. They're small. Nothing special. In fact, now that I have these out, I think I'll probably end up grabbing, I have another set that, let me show you, that would actually work better, and they're currently in my little sewing box right here. At least I thought that they were. Well, they're not, but they are essentially like really small like this, but they're plastic orange, and they actually fold down like this, so it becomes this really, really small, compact situation. So I might look for those, but for now I'll do this. I have a small eraser. This one's just kind of an all-purpose, so I'll throw that in here. This guy, I use these for my sketchbook. So if I have a page open and I need to hold it open and it's closing on me, I use this to hold it down. I use that really any way to hold it down. So I have that in here. I could also just hook it onto my sketchbook and call it good. Washi tape. I bring a roll of washi tape, and that is for borders. I thought I had one up here. Well, that's for borders, though, if I want to tape something off so I can paint it, so I can have that nice crisp border. So I bring that as well. And then I have brush pens. And notice I am not bringing big, long, thick brush pens. I'm just bringing these ones. These are by Marvy. So the reason I'm bringing these is because they have that nice thick brush tip, but they're super thin. And I appreciate less space when I'm trying. They're not like my favorite brush pens, but they're really not bad. I like them a lot. This color palette's really pretty. And then I have my so this is what I'm most excited about. These are watercolor crayons. If you've heard of the Caran d'Ache Neo Pastel 2, you'll know what I'm talking about. These are amazing. They're super creamy. They look just like crayons, but you color them down, add water, like with the water brush that I showed you, and they will create the most beautiful watercolor. And so I was really meticulous and spent way too long at the art store picking out the colors that I wanted. And believe it or not, these don't look used, but I've used them quite a bit. They are super packed with pigment. So what I did was I wanted them to be protected. So I have this really, really thin foam like sticker adhesive. And then I lined this entire tin with it. I cut it up and lined the whole thing, and then I put them in here so that they wouldn't get ruined in travel, and it's been doing great. I only had one break, and that was actually during use, so that was just me going too hard. So that's going in the small bag as well. Okay, that's almost it. I have another... I'll find it. There's another thing that goes in here. So I'm going to set this over here for now. The next bag, this is just paint pens. So I'm using a lot of paint pens because I'm doing really vibrant sketchbook mixed media stuff. So I wanted all of the colors. Also because I don't think that a lot of people will have these on hand, and I want to really play with them and have other people also. So I just brought a little bit of everything. Also, these guys, they will most likely, one or two of them will leak in flight, and I just didn't want to chance it. So all of them get to come, and they fit in this bag as well. This is what I use to hold brushes. So if I take that off, there's this foam piece, and that is going to protect the brushes from getting smashed if I don't have the covers anymore. But I'm just bringing a few. So I'm bringing a 2, a 6, a 12, a filbert, and a wash brush, and that's it. So those go in here. I'm just gonna put this little foam piece in the middle, and then this will adjust to size, so I can bring that all the way down, and they're protected and they work great. I can actually, it goes down even further. And then I can put that inside of this bag if I wanted to, or inside this one. I just keep it loose because I don't want to stuff it too full. And then I have one sketchbook that I'm bringing. I have one set of watercolor paper, and this is for an exercise we will be doing together, which will be really fun. So this is it for paper. I really want to bring more sketchbooks, but it's just not feasible. Okay, this was the last thing that went inside that small bag, and this is a custom palette I made, but I want you to see how thin this is. It's so thin and so wonderful. And mixing palette, and the colors that I've chosen to bring. And these can be completely configured differently. It's a magnet, and these are magnetic, and then you can just put them in here like so. You can get different sizes, but I know that these are the colors that I want, and I don't use a lot of them. I also use Daniel Smith, and so they're very, very pigmented, so it might not seem like a lot, but a little goes a long way. So I just put that together after having used the heaviest. I was using a very heavy, even though it was great because it held a lot, and it's just not great for travel. I mean, it is, but if I'm bringing all of this is going to be nice, especially since I have those Neo Pastels. So this will go in here as well. And then just like that, I have so many different types of media available to me just right here. And then the last thing is, this one's not a clear bag, but that's okay. It's just too fun. I keep my gouache in here when I travel. But the last thing is gouache. So this is all of my gouache tubes. Not all of them. It looks like all of them because there's so many. But I did, believe it or not, select colors, even though there are a ton. And the gouache is tricky because I want to be able to use it and have it not dry up on me. So I use this palette, which is airtight. And if I open that up, these papers here are water friendly. So you get this sponge wet. It ends up expanding to the size of this tray, and then it will use just damp. And then you place one of these papers on top of it, and then you can use this as a mixing palette. But then when you seal it, it will stay wet for like 2 weeks. Not kidding. It's incredible. So that's what I plan on doing with gouache. This is probably the bulkiest, heaviest situation that I have. But overall, after that is all said and done, I can just put this stuff inside of this one bag. I could even probably go sideways on that one for room, for space. There we go. And then insert this one. And I like to insert the flat stuff, the flatter stuff first, because then anything bulky can just work around it. So like this isn't going to go in there, but these pens can, just like this. And then I've got that all said and done. And then all I end up having is these 2 bags. So, oh, I forgot this. This is my water cup. So it's collapsible. So if I want to use water or watercolor, I can put water in here and use it, and then dump it and collapse it when I'm done. So that also goes right on in here. And we are done. I am packed, and thanks for hanging out. I hope that's helpful for some of you. When you are traveling, just know that less is more. You can get away with it. It's going to be great.